This mini webinar on NHG project formats is brought to you by Maryland Humanities for the Teaching with Primary Sources Summer Teacher Institutes. Hi all, this is Leah. As we mentioned in our Intro to History Day session, there are 5 different project formats your students can choose from: exhibit, paper, performance, documentary, and website. Each appeals to different skills, interests, and primary source availability. So I won't discuss project specifications too much today. Things like word counts, time limits, size limits, what the title page should look like, or how to credit images, because you and your students can find all of that information in the NHG rulebook. Instead, I'd like to talk more about what the different formats mean for your students, including challenges they may face with each, and the access to technology needed. If you are doing a project like this with your students, one tip that I have is to show examples of great student work. NHG has a sample project page on their website of students who made it to the national contest, and we have samples from Maryland students on our site. Samples are a great way of modeling what you expect from students, and they can spark inspiration and get students excited about the possibilities for their own project. When I show an example, I will ask what the thesis was to show that a good project will make it clear up front what they're arguing, and I'll ask what the student did well. And it's a chance to look at the details of what makes a great project. Finally, the variety of project formats is one of the places where student choice will shine through. As we've talked about, choice can be a great motivator. Students can choose formats they're already familiar with or skilled at, or they can choose to develop or learn a new skill through their format choice. I'll start with exhibits. So exhibits can be the lowest tech option, as you can see here. It can just be a trifold with printed paper glued to the outside. It's great for students who are interested in art and design, but it can really be good for any student. It is the most popular project type, which means it's a little bit harder to stand out since students can be a small fish in a big pond. Some schools with limited tech will have all students do exhibits and complete them in the classroom, but we always think it's great to give choice when you can. But it has the lowest word count at 500 words, which, this will sound like a lot to a 6th or 7th grader, but they will soon realize how quickly you can use up those words. So it really is an exercise in cutting the text down to the essentials and making sure everything you have supports the thesis. Some of the possible challenges of doing the exhibit are that there are some things that make an exhibit stand out that are often not accessible to all students. So for example, if a student wants to display artifacts with their exhibit, which you can see, this one has some roses on the side. Other students will display things in front of their trifold. That will take extra time to find or perhaps money to purchase. Some students, especially when they get to the national level, most of the students will have a sturdy wooden frame. And you can see this example in the photo as well. It's totally 3-dimensional. It likely took some assistance to put together. And then finally, the last thing that could make it a little bit less accessible is adding multimedia features. So some students will include a tablet or a phone to play music or video. And obviously that is not something that every student is able to do. So the next category is the website. It's really useful because students can use a skill this way, and it's a skill that they will likely continue to use through middle and high school. It's something that they might even learn in their computer classes at that age. The platform for this is free. It's NHG Web Central. NHG Web Central is fairly new. It's just been through 2 History Day cycles, and many students and teachers have expressed frustration with it. It is not as user-friendly as Weebly or Google Sites, but they are making changes to make it a little bit easier to work with. And One thing that I will say about the website is that it's great for tinkerers. It's great for students who like to figure things out on their own. It does take some time to figure out all the different functions of that website builder. Some of the possible challenges or equity issues with the website are that students will need computer access outside of school hours. Um, Again, it takes some time to learn, so they'll likely need to be working on it at home to figure out all the functions. And the platform can't be used on a phone. The next one is that it takes practice. Again, it'll take more time. The more hours a student can devote to learning and improving their web building skills, the better the outcome will be. And then finally, the last possible challenge is that teachers often don't feel equipped to assist students who are doing the website because they themselves don't know the technology. My advice for this is to partner with a tech teacher who might have a little bit more experience with web building platforms. Next, we've got the performance. So the performance is also low tech, or it can be low tech. It is not a particularly popular category, so students who choose this can become a big fish in a small pond. It's great for students who are interested in drama or theater, but also for students who think outside the box. This is the most creative format since it's the only one where the text the student produces is not strictly nonfiction. They are writing dialogue, but it is informed by real historical events. The possible challenges here are that, again, some of the things that might make a performance stand out include things that might need to be purchased or created, like props, costumes, and sets. Or the inclusion of music or sound effects might take some technology setup. Again, teachers might feel less equipped to advise on the performance if it's not an area of expertise, but I think the props and costumes are the more salient challenge here. And here I've got a topic that would lend itself well to a performance. And this is an inquiry kit from the ThinkPort Inquiry Kits. It's called Abraham Lincoln Speaks, and it focuses on speeches of Abraham Lincoln. So there is not much visual material here. So it would be difficult to make an exhibit or a documentary on this topic. But it's got a strong main character, some words that you can put into his mouth. It wouldn't be impossible to make an exhibit or a documentary, but it may not be the best choice. It's ultimately up to the students, but it's good to look at what primary sources are available when making the choice for format. Next, we've got the documentary. So this is great for students who already have some familiarity with creating videos, which is becoming a big part of culture for young people. Or it can also be great for those who want to learn more about editing videos. Documentary suits topics with visual material, as I was just saying, more recent topics with video available. Some possible challenges for this are, again, like the website, computer access. The documentary will require computer access outside of school hours. It again might take some tinkering for students to figure out how to use the video editor. So that will take extra time. Again, teachers might not feel equipped to advise on dot creation if it's something they're not familiar with. So again, partnering with a tech teacher is a great thing to do. And then finally, some video editing software requires subscriptions. And those that don't require subscriptions often have watermarks that get in the way of easy viewing. Some schools or school districts do purchase subscriptions for students, which we think is great, but we know that that's not always an option. And here we've got a topic that might lend itself well to a documentary. This is another ThinkPort Inquiry Kit. The title is Persian Gulf War, Female Veterans' Voices. And you can see here that some of the sources include videos and interviews that students could actually break into clips and integrate into the documentaries themselves. Finally, we've got the paper. So this is really the most straightforward category. No additional creation is needed after the text is written. So all of the time that the student takes is devoted to perfecting the text. There are no bells and whistles, no need for additional equipment or software or assembly, just a word processor. Papers are, again, not too popular of a category. So students may here again also be a big fish in a small pond if they do go forward. I like to tell students it's great for those who want to be writers and journalists. It also has the highest word count. Again, since they are not taking time on other parts of assembly or creation, they can devote all their time to writing. So the word count here is from 1,500 to 2,500 words. Some of the possible challenges with the paper: more emphasis might be placed on conventions of writing like grammar, spelling, having good transitions, having a clear outline, and analysis of evidence and quotes used. A great resource for your students is our ThinkPort Research Learning module on creating your research project. It will get them thinking about what formats might best fit their topic or how to organize their projects. Another choice that students have in this project is whether to work alone or in a group, and both have their pros and cons. So for students who want to work individually, it's good because they can learn to work independently, and that is a great skill to have. They can learn to manage their own time, manage their own task list, but there is less opportunity to collaborate if you work as an individual, and they might miss out on important team learning skills. If students choose to work in a group, it's the opposite. They learn to work as part of a group, which is great. They learn to manage their time and tasks together. They learn to collaborate, and also they learn to share responsibility for the final product. On the other hand, they may face challenges in dividing up the work and with staying on task. So for the teacher participants of the Institute, as you choose your format for your research project, think about what skills you could develop this month and bring back to your classroom. That might mean stepping outside of your comfort zone and experimenting with the NHG website building platform or putting together a documentary. All right, that's all for now. Thanks for watching.